everyone, it's Lucy from My Crazy Craft Life, and I'm here today with a design team post for Scrapping for Less. I'm going to use this adorable stamp set, Home Sweet Gnome from Sunny Studio, and I'm also going to be using a paper pack from Lawn Fawn, a 6x6 inch paper pack that is called Knock on Wood. All of the papers have a wood grain look to them, so they're all different colors, but they all have that wood grain. Now I'm going to be doing a lot of masking on this card because there was just so many adorable images and I wanted to try to use as many as I could. And I'm going to be fitting them onto a circle. It's the largest circle die I have. It's about 3.5 inches. And then I'm going to be putting a panel on top of that, and I used the next largest circle die I have, and that one is about 3.25 inches. That's actually going to be on the panel. So I drew the circle, or I outlined the circle from where it was, just so I kind of had a thought of where I needed to put the images and where to put the different colors and things like that. So right now I'm just kind of figuring out how I want everything. And when you're masking, it's important to stamp the images you want in the front, so the main images that you're going to see first, and then you put a mask on it. And then the one that's going to be behind it, you will stamp that one next, and then you put a mask on that, and then the one that's behind that, you're going to put a stamp or a mask on there, and then you stamp the next one. So that's really just kind of how you got to do it. Sometimes you have to play around with it to get the right order and make sure that you have it the correct way, but I was able just to do this one and it kind of worked out perfectly. Now after I mask or stamp and mask everything, I end up using some distress inks and the cloud stencil and the hillside stencil just to give the background some color. There was certainly nothing fancy here. I just flipped it around a few times, put some color on there, and I only used broken china, peeled paint, and Lucky Clover for the colors for the distress oxides when I was doing this. Like I said, this wasn't going to be fancy. It wasn't going to be the focal point of anything. It was just there to give the image some color. So I really didn't care how perfect that was. Now here's the big reveal. I always think it's fun because I think it looks like a hot mess when you first are looking at it before you're taking off all of the masks. And then there it is. It's revealed the images that are going to be there. So I did use Copic markers to color these. These are the markers that I used. I actually ended up not using some of them. I didn't use the V's in there, so that if you wanted to use the same color patterns, you know, I didn't end up using those. The coloring, I had it zoomed in really far so you could see all of the markers, and then I forgot to zoom it out, so you're going to be really up close and personal looking at this coloring. There is certainly nothing fancy about my coloring. I just try to do some shading with it, and I've tried to use a lot of the same colors because I didn't want to be using 50,000 different markers on there. I just wanted to be able to get the color down. So a lot of the grays, or the W5 mainly, is what I used for like their shoes and different areas. And then I do end up having to grab some other markers for the orange for the pumpkin, because I don't know why I was thinking about orange, but I never actually pulled them. So for the orange, I pulled YR07, YR04, and YR14. Those are the colors that I ended up using for the pumpkin there. And like I said, I think in the end this really turned out super cute. I also pulled out the W5 after I cut the image out with the circle, because the couple of those mushrooms looked like they were just kind of hanging in air there, and I wanted them to be more grounded, so I added some shading to that so that they looked a little more grounded. And then I also used some shading around the grass that was with that cluster of mushrooms. And then I also grabbed my Distress inks again because there was a couple little slits of color that was behind the mask that didn't get cut out, and so I wanted to get those covered up so that it flowed properly. So I think this card turned out super cute. I loved all the images of the gnomes. They are just so adorable. And then there are a bunch of cute sayings with this set. So you have gnome by itself, and then a bunch of things that can go with it. So home sweet gnome, gnome one like you, gnome one makes me smile like you do, there's no place like, or gnome place like home. There's a to you is to love you, so to gnome you is to love you, and what's up Gnomey, that one cracked me up. I thought that was really funny. There's a bunch of little hearts and some flowers and a leaf that are also in this, along with one more image of a little gnome and 2 images of birds, and the birds are super cute, but I just didn't have any more space. So once I cut the panel out, I popped it up on with some foam tape, and I put that on there, and then I used a piece of the green paper from the paper pad to make the sentiment stamp. It's actually like a turquoisey color, I guess, more so than green, and I just cut it the whole length of the card, so it's 4 1/4, or the whole width of the card. It's 4 1/4 inches. This is an A2 size card, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 is the size of the card. And the sentiment that I used for this is, gnome one makes me smile like you do. So that was one of the other sentiments that were on there, and like I said, I just thought it was adorable. So I just fishtailed the ends of them. I pulled out my handy dandy sack of sequins that I have from all of my Scrapping for Less kits, and I found some that matched that. I ended up using those, and then I also found a piece of ribbon that I had that was a purple that kind of matched that little gnome in the front there, and I made a bow that I'm going to add on to the front of it as well. I did take my black gel pen and just dotted their eyes, because through the coloring it kind of muted them out a little bit, and I wanted their eyes to definitely stand out. So I did end up doing that. So like I said, I think this card is super cute, and I just love these little gnomes. And you can always grab your set over at Scrapping for Less. I will make sure that I link up to Scrapping for Less so that you can head over there and grab yours. So once I get this, I had some trouble getting my bow to stick. I was using the multimedia mat, and part of it I think was I was just being special and didn't want to wait, but I ended up using art glitter glue, and that stuck it on there perfectly. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope everybody has a great day. Take care.